Oh, hi guys. I just wanted to give a shout out to Kynes Auto last week and helping me get my car back and running again, and O'Reilly's Auto Parts also. I really appreciate it. And so, also, I wanted to give a shout out to Wendy Elaine Wright for the great webinar we had last night. We had Scott Sedita talk to us. As you know, I've taken many acting classes in the last 20 plus years. Since the first time I moved out to LA in 2003, Scott Sedita is somebody I've always wanted to study with, and he has got a great book too. So, anyway, I was first told about his book from a class I took in comedy from Nick Anderson, who's a casting director but also an acting coach that I took a long time ago also. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna refresh that book. I think I saved the ebook or the Kindle version on another computer that went kaput some years back. So I'm not sure if I can get that back. Maybe I can still find it, but I think I'd like to order the hard copy when I can afford it. I'm still, you know, um, I might become like try to just be an independent insurance agent again in addition to my acting and voiceover work. That way I can do everything out of my place. As you know, my budget is really tight. But what really keeps me from not getting too depressed about all that stuff is realizing I need to lose about 30, 40 pounds anyway. And so the irony of it is a lot of the food that's super cheap is like crackers and bread and stuff, starchy stuff, macaroni and, bread and, all this stuff. So, but you gotta have some meat, and a neighbor gave me a little bit extra meat the other day, but to cook. And which reminds me, I've got to put I've only got like 2 or 3 items in my refrigerator, so I'm gonna put them up into my freezer section right now until they get done with this transferring out the electric poles. So, but the other day it was kind of funny because I thought I had some issues with my car. It turned out it wasn't anything serious, but I had to move it when they put in the new pole like about a week ago, and now they're transferring the wires and cables over. But the guy was watching me. We were all nervous a little bit about my car, but it was fine, and so I had to move it. We all had to move our cars this morning or last night over to this other area if we work out of our place or we're at home. So, but I've been realizing a lot of actors and writers and directors and people, I'm finding out more and more and more, not just the A-listers, but all kinds of people in the entertainment business are filming all over the world. Apparently it's cheaper to film not only in Texas or, Georgia or Louisiana or, New Mexico or wherever else they're filming, even New York of all places. It was kind of a hassle there too, but then Los Angeles, there's just so much going on out in LA. But there's a number of productions out there too, and I also attended another free webinar with DeJuan Johnson about a week ago, which was awesome. Of course, these classes and everything are not totally free because in the past I bought classes from them too. I really am just enamored with the whole creative process, and I realized last night that I really need to write and direct and produce my own little content just free, not just, well, the YouTube channel's great because I was in the news business several years ago, and that's all great. I'm still not monetized, but hopefully in the future I will be. Even if I make a little extra money, just a little extra to pay some extra bills, to pay my internet bill or whatever. So, that said, it really is great to make content, and I have friends like my friend Angela who were still selling, or she's selling a lot of those Hot Mom products because she goes on a lot of these little flea markets and a lot of church bazaars and all kinds of things to sell those, and so I have the celery lamps, but I don't have any here yet, but you can order them through my website, Celery Queen Jean, and it's on my bio site, but also on those little ads that Angela made, the Hot Mom products, but also there's a celery lamps ad too. So, and that's on my About page and community page here on YouTube. Of course, I'm also on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Threads and everything, X. Well, now it's X, formerly Twitter. LinkedIn, Vimeo, IMDb Pro, whatever, you know. So basically I'm all over the place on the internet, so you can find me several places. As you know, I guess I still am a fan of Brad Pitt and got caught up with all those imposters and everything too, but I was having a difficult time realizing that there were some reports on him, but maybe they had invited some of those people to something, an event, a screening in New York, but this was like a decade ago, or like over 10 years ago. But it was also some studio person too. You know, I have a hard time believing all these things, but on the other hand, who knows? We don't know. People are busy too, and sometimes people invite people to things. Like back in the day, some people did invite Epstein to their events. I mean, he was connected with so many people and knew so many people because he handled so many investments for so many rich people. I don't know. I have no idea. And but as I mentioned before, just down here in College Station, Bryan College Station, home of the Texas Aggies, the one of the security prisons, or I think it's a minimum security prison. I really don't know, but that's where Ghislaine Maxwell stays now. But anyway, it's kind of weird. Like, I used to be in the news business. I had a difficult time making a living in that too, actually. I mean, I've stayed afloat in all my businesses and industries, just barely staying afloat. Selling insurance and news media, entertainment, of course, I always had to do substitute teaching and temp office, and even back and forth with insurance jobs and cashiering jobs, and then reaching. Well, you know what? Someday I will tell everybody how old I am. I'm kind of older, but if we think about the number, it's like I may tell you, but you can find out. But one of the numbers in my age is a lucky number. I'll give you that much. 7 is in my number. My age number, that's included in my age number of how old I am. So I was thinking, everything is so competitive about looks and everything. Like right now, I don't even have on any makeup, and I don't know if I'll live to be 99 like my grandmother, or even 80 like my mom, because she got cancer. But we don't know how long we have, and I don't have a significant other right now. I've had a difficult, challenging time finding one. I don't think I'd ever want anybody from my past back in my life again like that. Maybe a few I could be friends with, maybe. I was just really kind of clueless when I was younger. You know, I went through a lot of stuff, trauma growing up and different things. It was probably a little worse than what people thought. But a lot of people went through childhood trauma with certain issues as a child. And it impacts your whole life, but gosh, I've spent a small fortune on books, tapes, counseling, and, you know, I'm kind of over it. But, so I could take it or leave it if I find Mr. Right, the right guy, whatever. It would be nice, though. I do need to make a lot more money. I do need to do that and focus. I'm kind of tired of going everything on my own, though. It would be nice to have someone to work with, a significant other. That would be cool, but, you know, if not, I mean, it is what it is. And you get older, too, you get kind of picky, too, so that's another thing. So, but, yeah, they're doing the work outside here. I just made another video of that. And all our electricity is off while this is going on. But fortunately, I still have cell service, and so that's kind of cool. And my little iPad was charged up enough that I could do that. So that's cool. It goes on my, I guess, well, I'm taping it right now, so because I had charged my phone and iPad, and then I can still upload on my cell service, but my internet will be back on. Well, they said before 1 o'clock today, but it might even, they're moving pretty quick out there. So it'll probably all be done, I'm guessing, by 11 or 12. That's just my guess. I think they'll all have all their electricity back on here pretty quick. But, yeah, it's just been one thing after another. And then with all that cold snap we had, it was down to like 15 degrees in the middle of the night and everything. And then our water got turned off for like a whole day, and one of my neighbors' water got turned off for 2 days, and then I had the car issues, and then just one thing after another. I had found one insurance opportunity that I was not able to take because I wouldn't have come out ahead financially with it. By the time I drove all the way there, the pay and the training commission structure was such that I wouldn't have been able to afford gas money to get there. But also, it's one of those carriers that when you work for them, just like when I worked at Prudential, like a captive carrier, that at any point they can cut you off and say you didn't meet your quota, and then they keep all your customers and get the renewal commissions and everything. So that was why I ended up going independent like decades ago with that, because I've been in insurance on and off since 1991. So all these things is like, I think I just imagine what it would be like to live the life of your dreams and everything, but supposedly people that live the life of their dreams are really not living the total life of their dreams either. So anyway, but yeah, if I just work on all that stuff at my own pace, then if I can get a job as a cashier and do other stuff to support my creative endeavors, you know, all the creative work, you know, that may or may not make much money or any money, and all these other creative things I like to do. So, and just do the sales out of my place too. I might even try to sell advertising too. People that are creative can do more than one thing and multitask, and especially if you have a high IQ, which, believe it or not, I do. My IQ was like growing up like 151 or 152, something like that. But my brothers had high IQs too. Theirs was like 149 and 151, as I recall. And then I had a brother that had mental retardation, and he had epilepsy and tubular sclerosis and different things. He lived to be 66, but his IQ was even kind of high for somebody of that. Not, you know, it was less than 100 because of what his situation, but still he was pretty sharp. You know, my dad was kind of almost like a genius type of person. You know, in retrospect, and I've prayed a lot about it, and I've healed a lot from that. That was a lot of I think that was part of the problem with him as far as people skills with his kids and his even dealing with the public or the people through his business. But fortunately, he had other people helping him with all those things. And my mom was super cool, just chill. And my grandmother, however, my mom, I think, held too much in, but my grandmother was really a people person. And I really learned a lot from her. She was awesome. She really got me. She understood me. She understood people. And I believe they're all in heaven now, you know. So anyway, over and out, guys. I just thought I'd share that with you today. And we'll talk soon. Okay, bye.